Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, a channel that celebrates authenticity and fan culture. So welcome to our Monday afternoon news show. Make sure you check out the videos that we've done over the weekend if you have nothing to watch after the show. But what we're going to discuss today is we have priority positions that have been confirmed for next summer. And I think there's some interesting ones in there, some names I definitely want to discuss and talk about how they would work or feature in United's team, and also why Ineos are kind of going for these kind of players. There's a couple of names on there that you'll already know, that we've already been linked with, that we've already put bids in for before, and it looks like we're set to return with that. Especially, you look at someone like Branthwaite. Depending on what happens with Everton, they've had obviously a very shaky start to the season. I think there's going to be a lot of competition for him. But I'm going to discuss each signing individually and who the targets are. We've had Samuel Luckhurst put out a report this morning and kind of confirm that. So that's going to be the main part of the story. Bruno Fernandes starred for Portugal again last night in a 2-1 thriller over Scotland. Very, very good game. McTominay scoring as well. So a very United-themed, and Ronaldo scoring. So yeah, a very United-themed kind of international friendly there, which is actually, I don't enjoy internationals, to be transparent with you guys. I really, really don't. But I thought the game last night was really, really good. We've also got news, confirmation of more work being done around the Trafford area, so around Old Trafford, Salford Quays, these kind of bits. And it's going to be basically an economic plunge of money and work and a load of stuff being done over on there. So we'll talk about that towards the end, and we'll also do a little bit of a live kind of Q&A or some debates that you guys want to discuss, and we can kind of converse and go back and forth on it. But we'll kick it off with this priority position story, because I do think that's the main thing we should start with. So Samuel Luckhurst reporting that United want to sign a specialist left back next summer. We're expected to continue tracking Jared Branthwaite, so maybe a third. Would it be the third bid or the fourth bid for Branthwaite? I can't remember, because we put in a 35 plus 5, and then did we put a 45 plus 5 or something? And then I think we was going to put a third, and then we didn't. Or maybe I'm not sure. Or there was rumours that we was going to, and then Everton shut it down instantly. So we didn't end up doing it. And then, of course, we ended up signing Euro and Delete anyway. So, yeah, we are still, quote-unquote, tracking Jared Branthwaite. United's provisional plan, apparently, is to sign a defender, a midfielder, and a winger next summer. And the winger that's being mentioned is Eberiche Eze ahead of a probable signing. So, yeah, they're the names that are out there. One of the names that hasn't been confirmed, which I'm really interested in, is the left back. So a specialist left back, I think we all know, is the priority. But who's available on the market right now? Are we talking Gutierrez from Girona? Are people still interested in him? I know scouts have watched him before for Manchester United. Alphonso Davies hasn't made his move to Real Madrid yet. And again, people will say, well, he's if Madrid want him and blah, blah, blah. Said the same thing about Euro, and we ended up getting him. I do think it would be slightly awkward, because I don't know if you guys remember the Bayern Munich game in the Champions League last season. Just before the game, Ten Hag was like, Alfonso isn't a great defender. So, yeah, I'm sure that I'll have to iron out a couple of stuff there and have a conversation. I'm not saying that's a realistic transfer, it's going to happen. I'm just personally thinking about what left backs are out there currently at the minute that you can go and get. I don't think it's a crazy market. I don't think there's obvious ones. I'm sure there's some, kind of rough gems around Europe that people have spoken about, and they've done their due diligence and tactical. I'm sure they have. I just haven't. I don't watch, South American leagues week in, week out, so I can't really comment on that. But if we do end up going for one of those signings, fantastic, great. I'm okay with that, as long as you've done your due diligence and you trust your scouting network, which we haven't done in the past, but obviously new ownership now above us, then I'm all right with that. That's absolutely fine. I don't think there's many out there who are, quote-unquote, for sale or want to move on. If I had a magic wand and I could bring in any left-back that I wanted at United next summer, it would be Nuno Mendes at PSG. Now, that's never going to happen for many reasons. Financially, I'm sure he's pretty happy at PSG, wants to win league titles, wants to win the Champions League with them eventually. But when I watch him play, that is what I want from a left-back. Very direct. He's absolutely rapid. He's quite physical. Loves to put a cross into the box. Loves those overlapping runs. And I think a player of that dynamic would naturally help Marcus Rashford as well. And I'm not saying just sign a left-back so Rashford improves. Any winger who's on there, you have a natural left-footed who's bombing on, you'll be surprised how much more space a left winger has when it doesn't happen, which we saw for the whole of last season. I think a winger becomes isolated, don't they? So very important having those kind of left backs in. In terms of what kind of one are they going to target, are they going to go for someone like a Luke Shaw, who's kind of got a variety of not variety, he's versatile and he can play at centre back, he can drop into midfield, he can offer that overlapping run. Will they trust Amas? Will they start to push him? I don't know, but it is definitely a priority in it. I think we can all agree with that. Whichever kind of left back that you do want, I'm sure you've got someone in mind. If you do, get it in the comments. I think, yeah, it's a priority. I don't know who they're going to go for, and a name hasn't really been mentioned. You've only seen, maybe like young gems in Europe being linked with those. Gutierrez, there's been a few. I'm trying to think of anyone else. Any other left backs that we've been linked with? I really can't think. Obviously, Kadioglu before he went to Brighton, but obviously he's already moved now. So, you're kind of clutching at straws a little bit. But the thing is with time, in the next 12 months, someone could just appear out of nowhere that you didn't expect. And then United are like, right, let's go and get him. So, obviously, we're a long way off at the minute. We're only in September. The next summer market's literally a year away, just over a year away. So, anyone can come out the woodwork, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But what we're saying about left backs, what we're saying in the chat, more to the point, don't think we can confirm any transfers yet. Targets is all well and good, but 98% of them, none of them will happen. Have you heard we made contact with Sevilla over a deal for Joanlu Sanchez, a versatile right back that plays mostly midfield. It was part of the under-23s Olympic winning squad for Spain. That's what I'm talking about, these kind of signings. If Ineos want to push for these kind of players, I'm absolutely fine with it. We've got McMillan in the chat. We've got Steph in the chat. We've got Andy Moore. Good afternoon from Berlin. Love that. Absolutely love that. Thank you for joining us, Andy, if that's how you pronounce your name. Love seeing people watching from different countries and stuff. I think it's fascinating. We've been linked with Dorgu, Robinson, Kirkes, Loco. Thank you for them names. Robinson and Kirkes are two players that I like. But again, it was always the price tag, wasn't it, this summer? It never seemed to fit in with our budget, what we could do. I think that was always the narrative that they pushed. Even I remember Romano talking about it, saying there's no chance United go and spend 30 to 40 million pound on a left back. It's just not going to happen. And that's why you saw us being linked with the names with the likes of Marcus Alonso, Hermoso, who versatile, could play a bit of, but you've seen these names floating about. So obviously you would like to think next summer, Maguire and Lindelof probably going to leave. Centre backs in. If you want to bring Branthwaite into that pool, so you've got Leacher, Branthwaite, Yoro, and De Ligt, that's a very good centre back pool. I think you may struggle to keep all of them happy, but that's decent. You move one of the left backs on, who that'll be again, not entirely sure, depending on injuries, and you bring a fresh one in there. I think you've got enough in Majrari and Dalot to compete at right back. I'm fine with that. You definitely need another midfielder, and then some attacking options, whichever way you want to kind of look at that. But Anthony Robinson, I'm a huge fan of. I think he's a very good left back, and I also think there'll be a lot of competition in for him. Likewise with Jared Branthwaite, the same. We're still tracking Branthwaite. We put in multiple bids. Everton rejected. You look at the start of the season that they've had. I know he's not played. He's not been a part of that back line. So you can't really judge him for that. But if Everton continue in the form that they're in, it looks like they're probably going to end up getting relegated. Now, look, like I said, still a long way to go in the season. It's not it's not guaranteed they're going to go down. They've played 3 games, for God's sake. So I'm not saying it like that. I just mean it don't look great for them, does it? They've got the whole ownership situation ongoing as well. You don't know when that's going to be resolved. I'm sure there was another points deduction mentioned, or at least murmurs of that. So it don't look great for him. And they may end up selling for what we actually offered in the first place. And we don't forget, we agreed personal terms with Branthwaite as well. That was like early June, I want to say, before the window even opened. So he's obviously keen on the move. He knows we was there with the initial interest. Now, whether other clubs come to the front and put their kind of hat in the ring and say, we're interested, I think that will happen, because Branthwaite's a very talented centre-back. He's got years ahead of him. He's got a lot of qualities that you want in the modern game. He's very good, comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's ambipedal. He's right-footed and left-footed, comfortable on both sides, very quick, 6'5", great in the air. There will be clubs interested. I'm surprised there wasn't any this summer. But you look at maybe other clubs around, there are clubs in the Premier League that need centre-backs. There is. So, I mean, I'm sure Chelsea will probably fucking throw the name in there. It would not surprise me in the slightest. But, again, you don't know what's going to happen with them and all that shit going on with Todd Bowley and Clear Lake and stuff. So, yeah, interesting one to keep an eye on at the centre-back. Look, talks of a winger. Eze's been mentioned, who I'm a huge fan of. I think he really is you jack-in-the-box, kind of bring him on and he can fuck shit up, or just start him. Very creative, insane dribbler. Some of his stats and metrics in the Premier League, even this season so far, and chance creation. And he's a really impressive player, and I think you can always tell that from what the manager says about him. You had Glasnow raving, saying, I cannot believe, or Steve Parish, I think it was, at Crystal Palace, who was saying, I cannot believe no one has come in for Eze. Because Elise, it seemed like he was destined to go. Bayern Munich links, Man United links, Chelsea links. He was destined to go. Eze is another one, though, where he's like similar level, I would say, in terms of ability. I think he's a top winger. How much is it going to cost? Probably similar to Elise again, 50, 60 million. I don't know if there's a release clause in there, so I'm just saying that with no prior knowledge. If he has got a release clause, then great. But I haven't heard of one. So Palace will probably look for about 50 to 60 million for a winger, and rightfully so. You know, just starting to push into the England team now. He's been their star player. He's kind of overtaken from Zaha a little bit, I want to say. So I don't blame him for asking that kind of price. And you look at our winger dynamic at the minute. I'm happy with Garnacho and Ahmad. But right now, in terms of form and how they're playing, you'd probably say Eze, in comparison to our wingers, is playing a lot better. So that improves the quality and levels it up for us in the attacking dynamics. I'm okay with that. You have a pool of wingers then who are relatively young in Garnacho, Eze, Ahmad, and then let's say Rashford. Or unless Rashford goes and you bring someone else in, I'm all right with that. But I think the main one to look at is Antony. I did a video about Antony yesterday saying there's still a small percentage that he may come back into the side and he may end up working out. But I think the majority of United fans, at least at the moment, have probably written him off, right? So that's probably what they're looking at. But yeah, I don't know. I like the names that are being linked. I don't know what you guys think. What are we saying? Let's go to the good old comments. Any truth to that Antony's trying to be loaned out now? What changed over the weekend? I think that's coming out from the Sun. And I'm pretty sure Antony's agent last night confirmed that he wants to stay at United and fight for his place. So anything the Sun put out, just put a big red mark next to it and fucking cross it off because it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Dorgu can play all positions on the left. I haven't watched Dorgu, sorry. I haven't seen him, I have to admit. Punch Paint, Robertson's not the age profile Ineos would go for. Is he 27? I wasn't aware of that. I thought he was like 23, 24. Interesting. We should sign Dennis Irwin, great left back, would give us 8 out of 10 performances every game. If only, McMillan. If only. Eze can fill in a good few positions. I rate him. He can play a 10 as well. A lot of people are a fan of Eze. Sean saying, joining in late. Any chance of a roundup so I don't have to do a Craig David and rewind? Yeah, so to be honest, we were still on the first topic. We was talking about who Samuel Luckhurst, he put a report out this morning, I think it was, talking about certain targets that were linked with. So centre-back, Branthwaite, for example. Left-back, that's the kind of question mark. Who could it be? Who would you go for, Sean? And then a winger as well in Eze, who excites me quite a lot as a player. So, yeah, you don't have to do the rewind there. And Bob Selector. I saw something that was saying they lined up a replacement for Eze because they expected him to leave and the replacement was Johan Bakayoko. Is that the PSV winger, is it? I think. Yeah, they do good business, Palace. So it wouldn't surprise me. They recruit really, really well. Dougie Friedman has done a fantastic job there. So it would not surprise me. Eze 27 next summer as well. Oh, my God. Did not know the ages of all these players. Now, look, again, just to throw out there, I don't think it's a case of because they're 26, 27, Ineos just won't sign them. I think predominantly they want to bring in 25 and under, but if there's a player there and an opportunity on the market where you could, like Majari, for example, how old is Majari? 25, 26? Then they'll bring him in. It just depends on the age profile and who's moving on and do you want experience or do you... Because you can't just have everyone who's 20. You know, you need some experience in that team. Bruno Fernandes, for example. You know, Lissandro Martinez is 25, 26 now. Andre Onana is 28. So bring the age profile down, but you still need experienced players in there. Another one, the last target that was mentioned in this article was a midfielder. I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know who they want and who they want to go for. I suppose, one, they have to see how Ugarte works out. And if he becomes a regular in the team and he's starting every single game, in which case... Do you need to bring in someone who's a bit of a replacement, a like-for-like for Ugarte, or do you want to bring in someone who's, like we've done with Højlund, for example, a different kind, like with Xerxes comes in, he's more of a 9.5, a hybrid. Do you want to bring in someone who's maybe a bit more of a ball controller, a bit more of a deep-line playmaker for certain games? It all depends on who the manager is as well. Erik ten Hag might not be here next summer. So that would completely change the whole thing. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. It wouldn't completely change the whole thing because Ineos have a way they want to play. Of course, you look at De Ligt and Majari coming in. they was looking at De Ligt for years, and they've seen Mazzarri as an opportunity on the market. So they're not just recruiting for that specific manager. They have a way they want to play exciting, attacking football. And if Ten Hag isn't here next summer, they would still go down a similar recruitment line. But again, you have a manager, at least a little bit of a say, or a veto is what they call it, innit? So you want a collaboration there. So it all depends on who's in. You just don't know, do you? It could completely change. Like, Jose Mourinho is going to sign completely different players to what Ten Hag's going to sign. It all depends. And if Tuchel comes in, can you imagine? De Ligt and Mazzarri straight back out after a year. Crazy. In terms of age, I reckon Ineos will have to widen their profile as their market is slim pickings when looking at a left-back. Exactly. It's not like a full-on huge opportunistic market, is it, with left-backs? I just don't see it. There's not obvious names, but a lot can happen. Time is they say time is a healer, but time is, within 12 months, so many things can change. Someone can just pop out of the woodwork that you would not expect. So keep an eye out on them targets. Keep getting yours in, players you would like to bring in or players you think I should take a look at. And I'm always happy to do it. Now, I want to discuss Bruno Fernandes and switch gears a little bit. International game, I don't know if anyone watched it, Scotland versus Portugal last night. I hate international games. I think it's very slow tempo, very boring. Nothing excites me about it. But actually, that Portugal and Scotland game yesterday was really, really good. Had, feistiness. There was like 8 yellow cards. McTominay took the lead. Obviously, United linked there, so I was buzzing for him. And he scored in their last game as well. Scoring loads. He's going to end up being Scotland's top scorer, honestly, if he keeps going at this rate. But yeah, McTominay done well last night. And then, was it Bruno? Bruno got the equaliser. I think the keeper should have done better. But overall, they had a good performance. And then, undeniably, Cristiano Ronaldo scores 901 for Portugal. You got another United link there. So 3 United ex-former players, 2 United former players, 1 current player, all doing the business in the game last night. And just some stats here for you. So Bruno played 90 minutes, which I wish he didn't. 99 touches, 56 passes completed, 1 goal, 6 chances created, 2 big chances created, 4 out of 4 long passes completed, 3 out of 3 tackles won, 8 recoveries, and 7 duels won. He was absolutely everywhere. Now, granted, Scotland really didn't have much of an outball, and Portugal dominated possession, and they had loads of shots on their goal. But Bruno was good. He looked lively, looked active. The stats tell you the majority of the story there. I'm happy he's in form. I want him to carry that form over from Portugal to United because I think he's been pretty shit at the start of the season. He's been pretty underwhelming, just in my opinion. So, and I also would like the manager just to rest him, take him off for 45. I know in this case, you allow it a bit because you understand it's a Nations League, it's competitive, you 1-0 down to Scotland. So you ain't going to take Bruno Fernandes in that regard. But there's been a lot of the times where I've seen him play 90 minutes where you just simply do not need to. Take him off, man, because he plays way too much football. And I think, Rose, you think the way Bruno plays and the way he commits himself and the amount of running that he does on a consistent basis for the minutes that he played last season to then go to the Euros and a similar style to, in terms of the amount of running that he's doing with Portugal. And then he has about 2 weeks off, which is nowhere near enough. Comes back, starting games, Community Shield again, and you're like, I just think his body's going to break at some point. I do. I know it hasn't yet. Touch wood, it doesn't. Just signed a new contract. I had this kind of, this gut bad feeling that his body's going to break down and he's going to start picking up big injuries. I know there's no record or history to suggest that, and you can all tell me to shut the fuck up if you want, but I have this feeling about it. Please rest him sometimes. Drop him a couple of games. It won't hurt, especially when he's out of form as well. I've always kind of pushed that we need to do these kind of things, sorry. Jose's trying to get anyone he's worked with before. Jonathan Ball saying, I don't think they'll widen their age profile until the squad revolution has fully happened, and only when they're looking to add those star elements to a sustainable squad. That's a very good point, Jonathan. Alphonso Davies shock move would be nice. Yeah, I'm a fan of Alphonso Davies. Is that fact true? Out of 606 games, only 6 games missed through injury? If you're asking about Bruno, yeah, probably. Something, I don't know if that's the exact figure, but it's very similar. Jay saying, a new left-back is a vital part of the squad revolution. Shaw isn't reliable despite ability. Malacia still on his gap year. God knows we absolutely need a left-back. And Jonathan saying, I must admit Kirkes hasn't really impressed me, but it's not like I'm scouting him. Yeah, Yeah, I get it, guys. I understand it. There's going to be conversations ongoing. This will be, like I said, for the next 12 months. I don't think they're going to do any business in January. I think you'll get the usual line that you do in, when they say, like, oh, it's not really a great market. There's no real opportunities to bring players in and blah, blah, blah. I think, weren't Van Dijk signed in January? Wasn't Vidic signed in January? Wasn't Evra signed in January? Was Suarez signed in January? Bruno as well? And, like, quite a few of them. Torres, maybe. Not the one when he went to Chelsea, I mean, for Liverpool. Maybe I'm wrong on a couple of them. But you can do business in January. It's nonsense. You can do good signings in there. Didn't Chelsea sign Casado in January? So you can do business, but we'll probably get that line coming out saying, PSR regulations and da-da-da. So I don't expect us doing any kind of business in there unless we have really bad injuries again and they kind of have to pivot a little bit and panic. So, yeah. Interesting times ahead. To be honest with you guys, I just can't wait until football returns. It's the week now, start of the week. It's Monday. We play the first game as well. We play on Saturday against Southampton away, 12:30 kickoff. So yeah, very, very excited. We are gonna have. I've got a little bit more to discuss about the surrounding area of Trafford, but just whilst I remember, we've got 2 guests on this week, which I'm very, very excited. We've got Alice Talk 40, who's on tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We have Jay Motti on Thursday night. Always a good show with them too, so that's going to be interesting. We'll talk about the game ahead, the transfers, and loads of other stuff, and just go off topic and chat about nonsense as well, which I know some people like. And then Wednesday, we'll have the preview for the Southampton game, and there's a few other bits. Oh, we dropped a video last night because we didn't have a live because there was no news. We put a pre-record out. Mark Goldbridge versus Big Steve. Viral beef. That's just a 10-minute quick video, different kind of content for anyone who's interested in that stuff. Check that out. I'll drop the link in the chat towards the end, or just check our YouTube out because I dropped that last night around 10:30. I want to say 10 o'clock. Some beef ongoing there, and I react to it. So if you guys, if that's something you're interested in, then go and check that out. But we'll bring it back slightly to the show. So the surrounding area, this is coming from actually United's website, that Manchester United, Trafford Council and the Greater Manchester Combined Authority have entered into a strategic partnership to maximise the growth and regeneration opportunities of the Trafford Wharfside area. An advisory team led by an independent director will be appointed to support the ongoing work to develop an ambitious vision, mix the two there, sorry, for the area around Old Trafford, with a focus on how a world-class stadium can catalyse wider regeneration, bringing social and economic benefits to all of Trafford and the surrounding region. And look, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has touched on this before. He's not just going to empty £2 billion out of his pocket and just say, yeah, go build a new stadium. It's going to be a collaboration of a load of things. Now, equally, I think Andy Burnham, the mayor of Manchester, has also said, look, we're not also just going to give him taxpayers' money and just say, yeah, you can build a stadium. But what we're going to do is, around the area, we will open up a lot of stuff in terms of planning permission and wherever it is to really regenerate. And he's going to do that simply because it's going to benefit Manchester. As much as it kills me to say, you look at what Man City have done over their side near Droylsden and those kind of areas, and it's just an increase of wealth all around that's benefiting Manchester. You do the same again around Trafford, but on a bigger scale, because let's be honest, Manchester United are a far bigger club and far more supported club than Manchester City. Around that Wharfside area, which I'm not far from, I'm literally 5 minutes in a car from Wharfside. You already have the area of Salford Quays where it's beautiful. And they've done a lot of work over on there. I think if you extend that then to Wharfside and the Trafford area, honestly, the economic benefits just from people getting jobs, the amount of money that's going to be spent, because what you're doing then is you're turning a game into an event. So families that are travelling, let's say from, I don't know, Newcastle, if obviously they're going to, if they're not Newcastle fans, just travelling from anywhere in England or travelling from abroad, and they're coming over, you had them in that area, they can eat there, they can do some events for stuff that's planned for kids. You make it a full day thing rather than you get to the stadium, you leave at, the 87th minute and then they go, because that's what City do. If you have fan parks there and you bring in some, kind of more entertainment venues, these kind of things, I think that's what they're looking at. And for United, as you already know, I mean, look at what Gary Neville did. It seems like a simple idea, but he built hotel football right next to Old Trafford. The Glazers could have done that about 15 years ago. and made an absolute killing off it. Gary Neville saw a business opportunity. He saw something that would bring fans together. It's a win-win for both, and he did it. And hotel football's amazing. You go downstairs, you've got the guy on the acoustic singing all the fan songs before it, you have a pint, and then you go into the game. I'm talking about that being extended throughout the whole kind of area. And there is massive, massive potential there. And they know that. Ineos know that. And it'll cost a bit at first, but the revenue that they're going to bring in after they do it will be, huge. So that's why they want to look at that, and they'll make the money back, 5 times over if they do it. Season starts after the international break. I'm feeling dangerous. Are we feeling positive? Even though it's Southampton, it's an early kickoff. It's away. They haven't got a point yet, I don't think, have they, in the Premier League season? It just feels like one of those games, doesn't it, where you're like, oh, I hope not. That's what I'm thinking. I hope not going into that game. Andy Moore, I would love to see United get Arda Güler on loan from Real Madrid next year with an option to buy. Unfortunately, I don't think it will happen. I think he's an amazing talent. And I think it's a good shout simply because you look at Madrid's attacking players at the minute and those kind of areas, I don't think he's going to get the game time he wants. So I actually think that's a really good shout, to be fair. Jonathan Ball saying, Sir Jim Ratcliffe in interviews before Ineos owned United, he said it would need sponsorship and alternate funding routes. Real Madrid looks to try and sign Haaland for over 180 million. So yeah, not happy with Mbappe. They want Haaland too. I haven't seen that personally. Yeah. I'm not keen on the gentrification of the area, but we know that's what will happen. Yeah, look, in terms of fans, I don't think we get much say in it. But you know what Ineos are going to do. You know what the plan is. There's been a lot of decisions that Ratcliffe and Ineos have made that people just simply don't agree with. And that's fine. That's fine. That's what we're here for. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. And I get exactly where you're coming from. Jala, possibly part of the plan Mbappe sit out his contract first. They reckon the revenue made by Spurs is massive because fans stay in the ground longer, so spend more because it's a comfortable area. Yeah, I've never been to Spurs' stadium, but we have. So Sam's friend who comes on when we do a Spurs preview, he's a Spurs fan, obviously, and he says the stadium is unbelievable. Just like because when you go to Old Trafford, right, I don't like slagging off Old Trafford. I love the atmosphere. I love the camaraderie, the togetherness, the air of Old Trafford. It does have something about it, right? So I'm not slating that whatsoever. But when you think about it as a fan experience, before you go out onto the seats and watch the game in general, which the seating's a little bit off anyway, just the whole experience beforehand, I don't think it's that enjoyable. I don't. I think the food and the drinks that they do there are crap. I think just the whole experience, the way you go into the state, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of stuff that they can do and a lot of stuff to improve. Because let's not forget, the Glazers haven't touched it for 20 years, So as much as I adore the Stretford end and the atmosphere, all that is amazing. I will never, ever get rid of that. There are so many things they can improve on just as a fan experience. And I'm sure that they'll put that at the focus as well. I hope they do, at least. That's my main concern with it. Old Trafford will always be a church to me. Punch Paint, biggest club in the world, deserves one of the biggest stadiums in the world. New Trafford, glory, glory, Man United. And Box is saying, I went to Spurs once. The local area around the stadium is bleak. Yeah, I don't know about the local area around the stadium. I'm just talking about actually inside the stadium. It's supposed to be one of the best in the world, isn't it? So, and the pints pour themselves, which is an instant seller to me. I mean, just, yeah. I know that's small things in it. Small margins, as Dave Brailsford said, but that's something that certainly interests myself. So, yeah. Last 5 minutes, guys. Any kind of Q&A, any debates that you guys, anything you want to get off your chest, this is your part of the show. So, get it in the comments and let's have a conversation. Andy Moore, sorry, Nick, I have a hospital appointment. Broken arms. See you all later. Oh, my God. Broken arms. Jeez. Have you done that? Wow. Jay saying, what's the deal with Ugarte starting, Nick? Doesn't he finish later with Uruguay? I don't think it's... Pravav in the chat. Oh, my God. Hello. Hope you're good, mate. I haven't seen you for a minute. Hot minute. Pravav just dropping in like nobody's business. How you doing, mate? Hope you're good. Sorry, Jay. Yeah, it's just surprised for that. What's the deal with Ugarte starting? Look, I don't know. Ten Hag says he's not fit enough. It may take a couple of weeks or months. What I think it is, rather than fitness, although I don't think he's fit enough to play a full 90, you saw that for Uruguay, looked knackered around the 60th, 70th. So he might not be fully match fit in that sense. I think Ten Hag means more in terms of fitting in with the team, the style of play, because PSG, Luis Enrique, very different to Man United and Erik Ten Hag. He's coming into a chaotic whirlwind, really, in it. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. So I think what's going to happen with him, I think he'll be on the bench for Southampton, and I think you'll see a similar pattern to what happened with De Ligt and Ugarte. I think 10 minutes, 10, 15, see how he gets on. Okay, he's good. Give him 20 minutes. Okay, give him a first half. Okay, give him a start. Similar to Xerxes and De Ligt. That's what I think is going to happen. It's not absolutely guaranteed and nailed on, but yeah, that's what I think is going to go for. Because I was questioning, I was like, if he's starting for Uruguay, I know international football tempo and level is different, so that I get, but you know, he's obviously fit enough to play. He was running about like a madman against Paraguay. So yeah, give him minutes, man. 10, 15, 20. I think he deserves it. And I think there's a lot of United fans that are eager to see him as well, isn't there? So doing well, buddy. Missed you too, mate. It's always nice to see an old friendly face in the chat, and thank you for supporting the channel as you have always done. So hope everything in life is well, mate. And yeah, sorry about the start of the season for United. I get what you're saying, but we need him to be in the thick of it, winning the ball back and covering ground. We do need his energy now, but sometimes rushing him isn't always the best thing. I equally am as eager and excited to see Ugarte. Trust me. I mean, I've done a million videos on him, how I like him as a player, what my concerns are with him, but I want to see him in the team. Don't get that twisted. I really do. Uruguay and Argentina are playing tonight, and Morocco as well. Belgium and France playing tonight as well, aren't they? I think, in the Nations League. So I'll probably be watching that one. And depending on what time Uruguay's on, I might catch that. With so many content creators and media outlets on the United hate train, I believe it's our duty to stay optimistic and stay positive. Sometimes we need to get punched in the face to wake up. Now, I touched on this on the video that we did last night that I mentioned at the start. Goldbridge versus Big Steve. There was a bit of that in there where there's a clip of Goldbridge where he says, it is like 40 United channels now, it's all saturated and blah, 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 and all this nonsense. So whilst I agree with him to a certain extent, there is a lot of channels out there, and look, we know that firsthand because, you know, we started ours a couple of years ago. But then, does that mean, what, we shouldn't get the opportunity? Anyone should get the opportunity. Anyone in the chat who's watching now, if you love United and you want to talk about it in front of a camera, what does that fucking matter to Goldbridge? You know what I mean? Like, do your thing. If you're passionate about it and you love it, do it. The only reason why he's annoyed is because what's happened is basically, and I say this in a video, Flex from the United stand left. I think his United views got like 100k plus now or something. That's taken away from Goldbridge's pot and Goldbridge viewers. Same thing with Adam. Adam leaves 50k, whatever it is, FUTV. And all these guys are going on and making their own thing and you know, passionate about it and working extremely hard. A lot harder than Goldbridge does, by the way. And he's complaining. It's saturated, they're doing this, they're doing that. The only reason why he's moaning is because it's taken away from his pot. That's the only reason why he's asked. So, yeah, just wanted to get that out there. I don't know why I said that. Someone, yeah, I think because Punch Paint's comment. Jonathan Ball, I love Bruno, but is he a player who genuinely fits our pressing and possession style? I think he tries too much and suited a counter-attacking style more. With Bruno Fernandes, I am so torn with this player because I think on his day, he's our best player. He is. He simply is. Like, he makes things happen when he's not in the team. There's a giant hole there. But I also agree with, sometimes when he's pressing, he's a headless chicken. And Ollie mentioned in an interview, I think initially why he didn't give him the captaincy, because he gets over-emotional. And he overdoes it sometimes. And he does that on the pitch. When you need a clear head and you need composure, he ain't the guy. He isn't. And that is a characteristic that you look at in it for a captain. Clear head, composure. Not every captain's a screaming, raving lunatic. You know, you have loads of captains who are calm, you know, don't really speak much, just show what they're doing on the pitch, you know. Someone like a Michael Carrick, for example, who's obviously captained the club before as well. I'd like to see more of that. I think, I like his traits, but also they're annoying at times. It just depends on the game, doesn't it? So I am torn with Bruno. I love him as a player. I love that he gives everything, but he does overdo it. Jay McGregor saying, why only 8 likes? I know, 8 likes. There's been, you know, over 100 people who've come in and out of this stream. So if you can leave a like on the video for us, please do, if you haven't done already. I appreciate some people are busy. Ten Hag needs to tie a rope round the front line to teach them to go together like you do with the back line. Yeah. Collective press, absolutely. Because that's one thing we really struggled with last season when you watch us. It'd be 1 or 2 players that are pressing, they just clip it over to the left back. Whether it's the keeper or the centre back, just a square pass on FIFA, if you will, and they beat our press instantly. Whereas if you have the wing backs who are pushing up on that press, they don't have that option. So then they're forced to go long, and then if you win your aerial duels, you regain possession. It's just simple tactical things to do. Easy tactical things to do. Well, not easy. They're not easy. Nothing's easy in football, especially Premier League football. But if you can have a coach who's not won any trophies but still has a team well drilled. Sean Dyche, for example, I've just mentioned, it's a really bad example because I've just mentioned how bad of a start Everton have had to the season, but a lot of that also is more down to collective mistakes. I think you can have a team that are well drilled, and it doesn't even have to be the most talented coach on the planet. I just want to see that. I want to see us press well. I want to see us retain the ball. I want to see us not just playing this panicky, whirlwind, 100-mile-an-hour football. And at moments, fine, go direct, be transitional, be proactive, but put your foot on the ball at times in games. When it's a bit fucking end-to-end and it's getting a bit windy and stormsy. That's because I watched the clip this morning. Sometimes you just want composure in it. And it goes back to Bruno. He doesn't offer that at all times. We need to generate goals from set pieces and corners. It needs to feel scared. That's another thing, another great point, Punch. I think, yeah, set pieces, going all Australian there, set pieces, mate. Yeah, whether it's a short one, whether we put it into the box, we never ever score set pieces. And look at Arsenal's and Liverpool's stats from last season. They scored 13, 14 goals. That's a lot from a set piece. When was the last time we scored off a set piece? Was it Højlund when he scored against Villa, which was in December? Maybe there's a more recent one. I mean, someone remind me, please. I can't think of the last time we scored off a set piece, genuinely. James Scanlon scored his first senior goal for Gibraltar on Sunday from the academy. Our short corners became a meme. Yeah, the corners in general become a meme. I know we just brought a set piece specialist as well. It's not very special, is it? Because I don't see any difference, to be honest with you. I think the delivery at times from Bruno, again, they're either really low and they hit like the near post, like the first man, should I say, or they try to play a smart one out to the box and it never comes off. That has been a long-term issue for a few years, and I would like to see improvement in that area, 100%. But yeah, the delivery needs to be better. We need more of a threat in the box. I think with players like De Ligt and Maguire, hopefully if he's playing a bit as well. You've seen Xerxes scored a header for the Netherlands the other day. Maybe he can start getting on a couple. Højlund as well. I know he's not the best in the air, but he's still a bit of height. Yeah, we need more players attacking the box and scoring headed goals. Random guy, how are we doing, brother? Just came back from a 9-5 university day. Absolutely cooked. Hope everyone is fine as well. You know what? The fact you've taken time out of your day after you've had a shit day and you're absolutely cooked, I appreciate that more than anything. So thank you very much for joining us. And thank you everyone in the community. We've got loads of members in here, loads of the regulars, and that's what I love to see. You can have 1 million people, or you can have, is it Joey Diaz who said, you need 3 loyal motherfuckers to take over the world? That's what I'm saying, man. You don't need 1 million people. You need a good, solid, loyal group who loves talking about Manchester United. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to see us all in chat, man. Nobody can get ahead on anything. Bruno can't get past the front. Yeah. Similar issues in it. It's a nightmare, man, honestly. Right, I'm going to leave it at that, guys, because I don't just want to ramble to you. I want legit, to the point content. And when you guys ask questions, I'm always happy to talk about that as well. But yeah, we're going to be back live at 7. I think a couple of lads are on tonight, so interested to get into the show. Let's see what Man United brings. It's always random, sporadic news in it, so I'm sure we'll be discussing that. Then tomorrow, like I said, there's going to be a usual afternoon show. We've got Alice Talks Footy on, so I'm interested to get her thoughts on just whilst it's the international break. We've got the Southampton preview on Wednesday. We've got Jay Motti on Thursday. Something fun planned for Friday, and then early kickoff watch along R12. So busy. Do turn on that notification bell. Please do leave a like if you haven't done already. Subscribe. We're on 6,801 now. So 199 off 7k. Yeah, let's aim towards it, people, and keep smashing it. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. You've not been working too hard. Relax yourselves. You're important people, and I appreciate you. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, legends. And yeah, I am watching England.